My name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome, my lovely Form 3 students, in our proceeding biology lecture series. And in our today's session, we are currently proceeding with our topic on coordination. And we have already covered on our first and second subtopic, where we have seen on the concept of coordination, the structure of the neurons. Now we are proceeding with the topic of the nervous coordination in human being, where we have already discussed on the nervous system, where we see that there are two main types of the nervous system, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. And the central nervous system is made up of two parts, which is the brain as well as the spinal cord. Within the brain, we have seen on the main function of the brain, which was the storage, interpretation of the information, also so as to provide a response to an effector's organ, so that the correct action should be taken to a particular action which has been, to a particular detector which has been transmitted to the brain so as to be interpreted. Also, the second part of the spinal cord of the central nervous system is the spinal cord, which acts as the pathway for the conduction of the nerve impulses from the brain to the effector's organ, and from the detector's organ or detectors or sensory organs to the brain. Now we have already covered on the parts of the brain, which was the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. That's the main region of the brain. Also, the brain is situated within the skull, and it is ordered with the tissue known as the meninges. Also, we are proceeding with other components. In today's session, we are proceeding to see other components which are found within the brain. Also, we are going to discuss on the second part of the central nervous system, which is the spinal cord. So, the cranial nerves. The cranial nerves, these are the nerves which hold the brain to the region of the head, neck, as well as the trunk. So these are the cranial nerves which are found within the brain. So they tend to hold the brain in the upright position by holding them into the head, so as to fix where, so as to be in upright position, also to the trunk as well as to the neck. So the cranial nerves are pairs of nerves which connect the brain to different parts of the head, neck, and trunk. So there are different cranial nerves, and each being named depending on its function or structure. So there are different cranial nerves, and each cranial nerve has been named depending on the function pamoja na structure. So example of cranial nerves include the olfactory nerves, which transmit sensory information regarding to smell to the brain. Kwa mfano ni hiyo cranial nerves ambayo ina transmit sensory information regarding to smell kwenda kwenye brain, na to the brain kutoka kwenye nose, ambao nose ndio sensory organ ya katika detection of the smell, ambao within them kuna this olfactory nerves. Nyingine ni optic nerve, ambao which link the eyes and the brain. Optic nerves yenyewe kazi yake ni katika linking the eyes pamoja na brain, kuweza katika mambo ya sensitivity kuweza kuinterpret the image, vile interpretation of the color. Also, another one which is found within the eye is this vestibulocochlear, ambayo yenyewe inasaidia katika transmission of these sound waves katika brain, so as someone, a person, or animal to be aware of a particular sound of an organism. Also important in the assurance of the balancing during the movement or during the other forms of the locomotion as well as the movement. So the vestibulocochlear nerves which are involved in hearing pamoja na balancing of the body. The another components of the central nervous system of the brain ni hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, this one is the gland ambayo yenyewe ipo situated at the base of the brain, lakini ipo above the pituitary gland. So hypothalamus is a region of the brain located at the base of the brain near the pituitary gland. So ipo katika base of the brain, lakini ipo positioned near na pituitary gland, lakini yenyewe ipo juu ya pituitary gland. Ipo hypothalamus, baada ya pale ndio this paired sized the organelles au pituitary gland, ambapo yenyewe kazi yake hypothalamus ina control the nervous coordination system, lakini the pituitary gland yenyewe ipo responsible katika coordination of this hormonal coordination system. Example, hypothalamus during the temperature regulation. Take an example, during the cold condition, it tend to stimulate the nervous system to cause the constriction of this blood vessels, inapelekea shivering, ile rhythmic contraction of the muscles kwa ajili ya kazi one mechanism of conserving the heat to lose it from to the surrounding for this homeostasis. Lakini for example panapokuwepo na hot temperature, the hypothalamus vile vile inapelekea the dilation of this blood vessels so as to ensure that the heat loss, so as for ensure the cooling of the body. Vile vile it facilitates the sweating process for this human, for those organisms who have the glands. Na wale ambao wana glands, there are some which tend to perform painting and others. So that is all about. So the main function hypothalamus ni katika control or coordination of the nervous coordination system. So although it is very small, it play a crucial role in many important functions, and such as releasing hormone. Vile vile na play the role katika the release of the hormone katika pituitary gland, ambao this hormone are transmitted to the blood stream kwenda katika pituitary gland kwa ajili ya other secretion depending on a particular detected stimulus into the body. So example, releasing the hormones and regulating the body temperature. It also control voluntary control such as appetite pamoja na sleeping. Vile vile this hypothalamus inakuwa ina control voluntary control kama vile appetite pamoja na sleeping. So the pituitary gland. Napozungumzia pituitary gland, the pituitary gland is a small pear-sized gland that play a vital role in regulating vital function and general well-being of the body. So pituitary gland yenyewe ni small pear-sized gland that play a vital role in regulating vital function and general well-being of the body. So these are one of the function, this is one of the structure of the pituitary gland ambayo yenyewe ipo at the base, ipo below the hypothalamus, na kazi yake ina play vital role katika regulating different vital function to the body of an organism na vile vile general well-being of the body. Kwa mfano kunapokuwepo na during the ovulation process, the gonadotropic hormone ambayo yenyewe inabi released pale panapokuwepo na the need of the secretion of the follicles. So the gonadotropic hormone inaenda kustimulate those anterior pituitary glands kwa ajili ya kuweza pituitary gland kwa ajili ya kuweza stimulate the follicle stimulating hormone, which will result to development of numerous follicles, in which only one of the follicle will develop to become a matured Graafian follicle, and which will be caused to rupture during the evolution, to rupture from the ovary, to be released from the ovary kwenda katika fallopian tube kwa ajili ya fertilization under the secretion of the luteinizing hormone. About this luteinizing hormone also, it can be secreted by pituitary gland pamoja na estrogen. So that is just an example on how this pituitary gland inakuwa ina function. Kwa una vital function, kwa mfano development of the follicle au egg, ambao ambapo in case kama fertilization haitakuwa possible, inapelekea menstruation. Angalau kila mwezi wanawake wanakuwa ni experience menstruation, au wanakuwa wanaingia hedhi. Lakini for those ambao fertilization inakuwa ni most successful, inapelekea mtu kuweza kupata ujauzito. So vile vile inakuwa ina generate general well-being of the body. Kwa mfano katika pituitary katika two lobes ambapo kuna anterior na pamoja na posterior. Tunaangalia katika coming lectures takazoendelea katika endocrine system, the posterior pituitary ambayo yenyewe kazi yake katika the release of the antidiuretic hormone au vasopressin, ambapo within there kuna kuwepo na aldosterone, ambayo aldosterone yenyewe inakuwa inasaidia katika those prepare the body for the emergency action. Kwa mfano kama mtu kaona simba anakuja au kuna nyoka, that aldosterone hormone ita respond kumsaidia mtu kuweza kufight au kuweza kuruka, au kama ni simba aweze kurun, kwa anachukua zile unconscious action defense, yani kwa ajili ya defense or an anxious situation, nasaidia mtu kuweza to avoid the danger. So this is all about the importance, inasaidia the well-being of the body of an organism. So it also refers to as a master gland. Why it is called the master gland? Because it control vile pituitary gland yenyewe inakuwa ina control the function of other hormones within the body, because there are some hormones which are secreted by this pituitary gland. So all of these activities are hormones, they are controlled by this pituitary gland, and that's why inakuwa inaitwa the master gland. So it is also referred to as master gland because it control the activity of most other hormone secreting glands. Tunaenda kuziangalia katika endocrine system, keep on following ili uweze kuelewa zaidi. So the second part of the central nervous system is spinal cord. So the spinal cord runs from the head to the ends of the trunk and is encased in the meninges. Kwa hapa spinal cord yenyewe inakuwa ina run from the head to the end of the trunk na it is encased in meninges. So yenyewe inakuwa inaanzia kutokea kwenye from the head na kwenda katika trunk, anzia karibia na this, karibia na uti wa mgongo, karibia na maeneo ya abdominal area. So at the end of the trunk na inabi encased within the meninges, ambao that's one inakuwa ina provide the protection for this spinal cord. Na within the spinal cord tunaangalia kuna kuwepo na spinal fluid ambayo ina act kama shock absorber kwa ajili ya kuweza kuprotect this delicate organ ambayo ni spinal cord against a physical injury. So it is lies in the canal of the vertebral column of the vertebral. It is lies in the canal of the vertebral column and thus it is protected from the mechanical dimension. So this spinal cord yenyewe ipo ndani ya vertebral canal ya vertebral column. Katika topic yetu ya movement tunaweza kuangalia the vertebral disc. But tumeona ndani ya vertebral disc kuna those small disc ambayo kazi yake ni katika kuna vertebrae ambayo kazi yake ni katika cushioning kwa ajili ya kuweza kuprevent the collision of this vertebral disc. So ndani ya vile within those vertebral column ambapo tumeangalia kuna those vertebrae, kuna canals ambapo within the canal kuna kuwepo na this spinal cord. Na ndani ya umomo canal kuna kuwepo na cerebrospinal fluid ambayo inakuwa ina protect this spinal cord against injury or it act as a shock absorber. So spinal cord is made up of two identical halves. Vile ukiangalia katika structure ya spinal cord imetengenezwa na two half. Kuna left hemisphere pamoja na right hemisphere. Kwa tutaenda kuziangalia kuna dorsal pamoja na ventral. So the two halves enclose the spinal canal which is at the center of the spinal cord. So these two halves they tend to close the spinal canal ambayo yenyewe ipo at the center of the spinal cord. The spinal canal is filled with cerebrospinal fluid which help to protect the spinal cord from the shock. Kwa hapo spinal canal yenyewe imebi filled with cerebrospinal fluid ambayo inasaidia katika protection of the spinal cord from the shock. The inner region of the spinal cord consists of the gray matter. The inner region ya spinal cord it consists of the gray matter. And this gray matter, it is gray in color due to the concentration of the cell body of the neuron. So tunaangalia katika structure ya neuron kwamba kuna those three main region ambapo kuna dendrite, kuna cell body pamoja na axon. Na cell body tunaona kazi yake yenyewe katika receiving of the impulses or those signal which are collected by the dendrite. Na baada ya pale zinabi carry those signal within the cell body, they are be taken away by the axon to the central nervous system for the interpretation. So this cell body are the one which make the central or the inner region of the spinal cord to be gray. Na the cell body transmit the impulses between sensory na motor neuron. Kwa kazi yake ni katika transmission of this impulses. Tunasema kazi yake katika collection of this signal which are collected by the dendrite from numerous sensory organ. Vile the outer region of the spinal cord consists of the white matter. So the outer region of this spinal cord imetengenezwa na white matter. Tunakuangalia within the inner one ni gray matter lakini the outer ni white matter. Kwa nini? Tunaenda kuangalia this is because the white in matter due to the Schwann cell. Ambapo Schwann cell yenyewe ni inasaidia katika synthesis of the myelin sheath. Ambapo myelin sheath ni proteinous in nature, kazi yake ni katika kuoffer the insulation pamoja na protection to the axon during the transmission of the nervous impulses. Na vile inasaidia katika increases of the transmission of the nerve impulse. Nasema kwamba the nervous coordination system inakuwa the transmission of the nerve impulse inakuwa ni more rapid na ipo katika electrical. Kwa hiyo ni kitu ambacho kipo faster, inahitaji ina be responsible katika transmission of these fast responses. So the white matter is composed of the nerve fibers or axon of the sensory or motor neuron. Tumeangalia katika gray matter kwa yenyewe kwa kuna cell body, lakini the white matter yenyewe me contain of the axon of the sensory or motor neuron, nerve fiber or axon of the sensory or motor neuron. Na the myelin sheath of the nerve fibers give the region a white color. Ndio maana inakuwa inaita white matter. So this is due to the presence of this myelin sheath ambayo inabe synthesized by the strand cell ambayo inasaidia katika insulation ya axon during the transmission of this nerve impulse, na vile vile katika kuweza kuongeza the rate of transmission of these nerve impulses. Also, those nerve fibers is known as spinal nerves. So these nerve fibers are known as spinal nerves. So the spinal nerves divide close to the spinal cord to form two branches, dorsal and ventral roots. So these spinal nerves zenyewe zinakuwa zina divide close to the spinal cord to form branches ambao ni dorsal pamoja na ventral root. So this is a function of these spinal nerves. Kazi yake ina tend to divide close to this spinal cord na kuweza kutengeneza two branches ambao ni dorsal pamoja na ventral root. Na sensory fibers enter through the dorsal root while the motor leave the spinal cord through the ventral root. So naangalia kwamba sensory fibers zenyewe zinakuwa zinaingia katika spinal cord through the dorsal root na motor zenyewe zinakuwa zina leave through the ventral root. Tunaangalia kwamba sensory neurons zenyewe ndizo ambazo zinakuwa zina collect impulses na kuweza kuzipeleka katika central nervous system kwa ajili ya interpretation. Kwa hiyo they tend to enter into the spinal cord to the dorsal root. Lakini the motor ambazo zenyewe zinakuwa zina carried out the transmitted information, interpreted information from the central nervous system ambayo ni brain to the effectors organs zenyewe zinakuwa zina live through the ventral root. And this is the cross section of the spinal cord kama tunavyoiona hapa ni spinal cord. It's made up of the two half ambayo tuna this left pamoja na right one, na the two tumeangalia kwamba kuna two roots ambao kuna dorsal root pamoja na ventral root, ambao hapa dorsal root is where the sensory neurons anakuwa naingilia, na hapa ventral root ambao ndio chini ndio hapa motor neuron inakuwa inapeleka information towards the effectors organ. Vile vile at the center of the spinal cord kuna made up of two region ambao kuna inner region inaitwa ni gray matter. As you see here, this hapa ni gray matter. It is green in color due to the concentration of the cell body. Lakini the outer one hapa ni white matter. This is due to the myelin sheath which ambayo ipo hapo. Now what are the function of the spinal cord? Umeona kwamba the main function of spinal cord ni kama nerve impulse conduction pathway from the receptors organ kwenda katika central nervous system, na vile vile ni from the central nervous system to the effectors organ. So what are the function of the spinal cord as one of the part of the central nervous system? The first one, the spinal cord nerve impulses conduction pathway. So the spinal cord acts as a nerve impulses conduction pathway. Kama tulivyoona kwamba ina act as a pathway katika kuweza transmit the information from these receptors organ, either sensory organ ambapo kuna kuwepo na nose, kuna kuwepo na mouth, kuna kuwepo na tongue, eyes, ear pamoja na macho, kuweza kuzipeleka katika brain kwa ajili ya interpretation, na kuweza kuzitoa katika brain kuzipeleka katika effectors organ au muscular au gland ambayo inaweza ka result depending to the interpreted information. Kwa hiyo itakti kama this conduction pathway. Cha pili, nerve impulses transmitted by spinal nerves are relayed to the brain. So the nerve impulses zile ambazo zinabe transmitted by the spinal nerves are relayed to the brain. Kazi ya tatu, the nerve impulses from the brain are sent to the spinal cord. Baada ya the interpretation of the transmitted information by the sensory neuron via the spinal cord, the information or the responses which has been transmitted or interpreted by the brain, they are sent back to the spinal cord as a conduction pathway ambao nenda kulive by motor neurons or the effectors organ via the ventral root. Na vile vile from the spinal cord, nerve impulses are transmitted to the effectors organ. So katika spinal cord, the nerve impulses are transmitted to the effectors organ by the use of this motor neuron, ambapo kwa mfano kama mtu alikuwa ameweka mkono wake katika kitu chenye ncha kali, after the interpretation, ncha kali kwa mfano ameweka kidole chako katika msumali au sindano, mtu akachomwa. Information that one ambalo umetumia skin katika kuweza kudetect the pain ambayo ilikuwa ni receptors, ikabe sent by the sensory neuron kwenda katika central nervous system ambayo ni brain kwa ajili ya interpretation. Baada ya pale brain itaweza kutoa response kwamba that one is pain and this pain is due to that sharp object ambayo itaweza kupress mkono wake pale. Kwa hivyo the brain itatoa feedback kwamba mtu anatakiwa pull up a hand away. So that feedback or that response ita pass through the spinal cord ambayo ndio conduction pathway. Ikishafika pale ita katika motor neuron na ita leave the spinal cord via the ventral root, na hivyo kuweza kwenda katika effectus organ ambayo ni muscles. Inaenda kuinvolve the muscular movements ambapo mtu ataweza kupull up away mkono wake. Example ya pili kama ni hormonal response, take an example pale tunapokuwepo na high blood sugar. The blood sugar high blood glucose sugar. The blood sugar inapelekea high glucose sugar inapelekewa na over secretion of the glucose, over decomposition, kwamba the carbohydrate inakuwa inabidi decompose kwa wingi. Tunasema kwamba sukari kiasi chake kinakuwa kinabia affect depending on the lifestyle or diet yetu ambayo tunakuwa tunakula. Kwa tunapokuwepo na high production